Good evening. Charities in Sussex and Surrey are encouraging men to open up about postpartum depression, which can affect new dads as well as mums.
1 in 10 men will be diagnosed in the first year after having a baby. But many of the resources and support groups are only targeted at women. There are now calls for clinical guidelines to be updated to make sure that men are also screened.
We've been speaking to community groups, including Dadless Soul in Sussex and Dads Matter in Surrey, to find out what can be done to help. Here's Catherine Walker.
So the lowest point was when I was in the car and fully intended on taking my own life. Oh, and what's this?
With new responsibilities and sleepless nights, becoming a father can be challenging. But for some men like Luke, it can also trigger mental health problems.
I did all of those things. Yes, I changed his nappy and all that and fed him. But I did keep him a little bit at arm's length because I was scared that something horrible would happen to him, and I ended up shouting at my older 2 children over the minorest of things, and you'd be sat in bed that night thinking, why did I do that? And I wouldn't put my finger on that it was because I was upset or because I was depressed.
The latest figures show that 1 in 10 dads will be diagnosed with postnatal depression in the year after their baby is born. But many of the resources used to diagnose and treat the condition, including clinical guidelines, are targeted at women. These dads in Brighton say it's time there was more support for new fathers.
There's a huge amount of pressure. I was, again, as a business leader, I always try to really support those new parents, of whatever gender they are, really helping them to deal with the sleep deprivation, the stress and everything else that comes with it. So yes, I think anything that we can do to help make it a little bit easier is well worth it.
I think any screening and resources, an increase in that for mental health services for men or anyone in general is only a good thing, really.
I think the screening is it's desperately needed, because you think how many generations of men there have been that have been struggling, but they've been struggling in silence. Becoming a parent is a huge responsibility, it's a huge life change, and the more we can do to have some, say, honest conversation, have health professionals understand that, you know, dads matter too, we have feelings, I think that can only benefit society as a whole.
So Dan, tell us about the outreach this morning.
Some help is available through the services of non-profits like Dad Matters. They work with parents and professionals across Surrey to raise awareness of postpartum depression in men. But manager Kieran says there's only so much they can do without a national strategy.
I think routine screening would really help us to understand more about the bigger picture for dads, and also the impact on their partners and their babies. I think one of the biggest issues is that dads feel like it's a woman-only issue, but we really do need to think more about having a whole approach across the country, so that a dad who has a child under 2 can access the mental health support they need to be the dad that their baby needs.
My finger.
Oh.
Back home with his son, Luke is proof that the right diagnosis and treatment can help dads thrive. He now supports other men with postnatal depression and hopes eventually that all new parents will be screened for the condition. Catherine Walker, ITV News.
Well, in a statement, the government said people with mental health issues are not getting the care or support they deserve, which is why we will fix the broken system to ensure we give mental health the same attention and focus as physical health. This will include improving the help available to women giving birth and their partners, and we will also recruit 8,500 more mental health workers to cut waits for treatment.
Well, for more on the symptoms and support that's available out there for men with postnatal depression, we can talk to Dr. Livia Martucci from the Royal College of Psychiatrists. Doctor, being a new dad, a new parent is hard for everybody. What are some of the signs that men might be going through that would indicate something else is going on?
Some of the signs of postnatal depression are similar to symptoms of depression. Sadness, not being able to feel pleasure, anxiety, irritability, loss of energy, withdrawal. And in the case of postnatal depression, a loss of connection with one's baby, and perhaps thoughts of not being a good father or not being a good partner anymore. And it can become very severe, and people can start thinking that their life is not worth living, and in extreme cases even take action towards that and perhaps attempt suicide.
And what should people do if they think they are feeling those feelings, or maybe their partner or loved one or relative? What should people do?
They should not ignore it. That's the most important thing. They can speak with their own doctor, their GP, who can signpost them to psychological therapies in primary care, or perhaps even think about medication with them. And if they have a psychiatric service, they should definitely let them know how they feel so their treatment plan can be adjusted.
And are we getting better as a society at recognising, perhaps even empathising with male postnatal depression?
I think that's very fair to say. We definitely can recognise it now. It's a long-standing issue, but it's only recently that it's come to light, and we are definitely more aware that this is something to be sympathetic to and to think about to help families.
Such an important issue to be covering on the programme. Dr. Martucci, we have to leave it there, but thank you very much for talking to us today.
My pleasure.
Well, for help and more information about the issues we've been talking about, just head to the support page on our website, ITV News Meridian Advice.